Hi, sisters. Welcome back. My name is Deborah, and I have a question for you, especially you married sisters, those of you who are in a committed relationship with a man. I want to ask you something that we know that we do all the time, but is blocking the side chick a sin? That's the question. Now, you know what a side chick is, but is blocking the side chick a sin? Now, of course, I already know that you think that I'm automatically going to say yes, right? Because we think that you kinda know me if you followed Call for Wisdom, but if you didn't, welcome to Call for Wisdom. I specialize in biblical marriage, and this is a Bible study for the sisters. And before we start on that question, before you type it in the comments, think about it. Is stopping your husband or the side chick or any woman who wants to be the second wife of another man, if stopping her from getting into that household is a sin, then, hmm, who sinned? Who's the sinner? That's the question. So first, I'm going to listen to this. Let's hear what the world has to say about it.
Well, I'm the side chick, remember? So
Wait, I
But you
thought
trying to
wanted,
graduate though,
we
right?
thought you wanted to graduate to be the main chick.
I can't.
Huh?
See, it's difficult and it's
He has
complicated.
a wife.
Yes.
I was trying not to take it there because, baby girl, I hate to say it, but your self worth is low. You got the audacity, baby, to come to the microphone and ask us, what is it going to take for you to leave somebody that you knowingly belongs to somebody else? And then she also said, but I love him. You love him more than you love yourself. That's one thing that I do, peep. There is no amount of money, no amount of riches, no amount of nothing for a man to be able to put you in second place. But my problem is, I think you put yourself in second place because sometimes we come in and we want to please people so bad because we want to be accepted that we put these people on a pedestal and we make them superior and we make ourselves inferior. So they're going to keep on treating you like you inferior. I'm sorry, y'all. I hate to get this passionate, but when you wake up and then you go and brush your teeth in the morning and you sit there and say, I'm a side chick. How does that make you feel? When you go through your day, when you texting this man, when you talking to this man in the car because he can't talk to you in front of his wife. When this man is on a business trip, he can't talk to you in the presence of his own home. In this man's own kingdom, you are a peasant. You're not allowed to come into this man's kingdom.
Now, maybe we'll play it again. You're not surprised, right? You're not surprised by her reaction. Many of you feel the same way, especially if you are like this lady who's speaking there, a wife, and you think that you have authority. You know, they're just missing the organs to play there. It sounds like a church service. Like, yeah, yeah. She is sinning against herself because she has no self esteem. She's sinning against the man, and he himself is going to treat you like a peasant. Well, newsflash, my sisters, all of you, married and single, all of you are side chicks to this man. We are all side chicks. Toot moon. All of us side chicks to this man. And why do I say that? Because the status of wife, right? Woman in the Bible, Isha, is just the same. Isha. In the sense that you all belong to him. If I'm talking about biblical marriage, right? If he commits to you and wants you as his own and takes you in, I'm not talking about a marriage certificate. You don't require that. You do need the commitment and you're having sex with him and he declares you as his wife. You are his woman. You are his Isha in the Bible. Okay? This is a biblical Bible study for women. Hi, brothers at the back. So the definition of side chick in the modern day is that she is somebody outside of his household, outside. But I'm telling you, he owns the nest, my sisters. And both of us, if we're in the nest, are his chicks. And therefore, side chick number one and side chick number two, maybe there's three, four, five more, don't make no difference. We are all in his household. We are all in his household. And therefore, we are all his side chicks. I know you love me. Just leave a chat. If you don't, it's okay, actually. But think of it this way: Adam had a wife attached to his rib. Let's say this side is left wife, that's great. But we think that that just started there and that's it. And every man from now on should only have one wife, right? And that's what monogamy says. But just because it started this way of one seed and one woman who birthed the whole world doesn't mean that Yah didn't create man to have more than one attachment called a right arm over here, right? And each wife is a unique attachment to the body of the man, just like Yeshua has many members of his body. We women have many different attachments to the man. We are united one flesh with him, and there's many different one flesh unions with the man, right? And therefore the side number left and the side number right are equally in union with the man. Now, what he calls you don't matter. Don't matter. He can call you whatever you want, but you only have one husband, and that is the head, right? And it is his home. So we're going to talk about that because the last episode I spoke about, and I encourage you to go over there. The last episode, we were questioning whether it's even biblically possible for a man to cheat on you. And I came with you to the conclusion that it's not, because in order for him to cheat on you means that it is something to do with you. And his connection with another woman has nothing to do with you. And so forth, he cannot cheat on you, right? It's the same thing now with him taking in a single woman into his household, even if he's just courting her, checking her out right now, because it first takes him to court her and be interested and talk to her head, her father, her cover, and negotiate a marriage with her, with the family, and then the the decision is made by the man with the father whether or not he would like to take him in and cover this woman, take the woman in, and that is biblical marriage, right? So when he sees the second woman over there and he starts texting her and he starts communicating with her in a seductive way, trying to get her interested in the relationship and speaking to the family. You, my first wife, you, my first lady in the relationship, think that there is a sin being produced against you. And that's what I want to really, really go into today in this little Bible study for women. Welcome to Call for Wisdom. Bring your Bibles, pull up your apps. Here we go. Okay, so the question is, number one, is being a side chick a sin? Right. Is it, like this other lady was accusing this young lady of, is it a sin? Is it some moral depravity? As a single woman, obviously, if you're single, this is very important to you. If a married man approaches you and you're single, if he wants you and takes you to be his second wife, I say side chick, like the process of becoming a second wife, and that should be done really quickly, the courting into his house. But being approached by a man, is that a sin if you're single? And when we say side chick, we usually mean a single woman interested in a married man, right? Or the married man trying to get to the single woman would be approaching her. The question is she automatically sinning just for being courted by him, right? So let's go to the answer in the scriptures, because the definition of adultery in Exodus chapter 20, verse 14 says, you shall not commit adultery, right, with your neighbor's wife. And so the key here is the neighbor's wife. It's not, adultery is not with a single woman. And then we have Leviticus 20, verse 10 says only applies when the woman belongs to another man. So if the woman is single, the adultery is not, it's not adultery. If the woman is available, it's not adultery. A man taking on another woman is not adultery unless the woman belongs to another man. We went over that the last episode, okay? Check me out. But if she's single, never married, never, biblically was divorced, but biblically a widow, she's not allowed, she's available, right? So a man can approach her and he can negotiate with the husband, the father for her. But a married man is courting her for purpose, with intention, and that's the key. We're not believing in dating here in Call for Wisdom. It's not about going on for chocolate dates and selling yourself for prostitution. Courting should be done within the protection of a household, especially your fathers. You're in there and having a negotiation done with the protection of your head, and that is the biblical courting. But if you're single and a man approaches you and wishes to court you and have you as a second wife, are you sinning? And the answer is no, because if you were single, you were available, right? And a married man is allowed to take on more than one wife. That is called biblical marriage, biblical polygamy, biblical polygyny. All right? One man, many women. The second is a husband sinning if he takes on a second wife? Is he sinning by having a so-called side chick? Even if you don't know about it, my sisters, and when you do find out about that relationship, is he sinning when you decide to burn the house down and call 911 on him and say some kind of abusive stuff? Is he sinning by having another woman? Is he really cheating by being interested in having another woman? No, that's kind of, again, going back to the last episode, iffy, because this man, if he does not choose to commit to the second woman and is just fornicating, committing sexual adultery with her, with no intention of marrying her, hitting it and leaving it, just bam, bam, thank you, ma'am. That is adultery. It's not adultery. That's fornication, but it's fornication towards Yah because he's breaking Yah's commandment. Has nothing to do with you, wife number one. It's his body. He's taking his body, inserting it into another woman called a prostitute or whore. Yeah, that's what we do when we date with no intention of getting married. And he's joining himself that way with no intention, which is actually a sin against her too, because he's not committing to her and also to Yah. But has nothing to do, my sisters, with you as women, as wives. And that's the key that I keep on repeating. Nothing to do with you at all if you were the first woman. He's not sinning against you. He's not cheating on you. He's doing his thing between him, Yah, and the second woman, trying to negotiate to have her into his nest, right? So the husband is the head of the household. You do not own the nest. And that you need to get out of your house. You do not own the house. It's his house. It's his children. It's his nest. And when he owns his own nest, how can you control him and say, how many chicks go in the nest? It's a matter of authority here. For you to be mad at the man for wanting and desiring and actually taking in another woman into his household, like she doesn't have to literally be living in the house, but it means that under his protection, under his covering, he is the cover over her. You have no right to control that. You're not in authority over the man. You're in subjection to the man. You are under him biblically in subjection. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 23 says, for the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church. So the husband is the head, not you. He owns the household. He's in charge. 1 Corinthians 13, verse 11 says, the head of every man is Christ, and the head of every woman is the man. Again, the order of the kingdom. You are not the head of the man. You're not in charge of this household. He is the boss. It's like getting upset at your boss for trying to get more employees. Like, you're overworked anyway. You're overworked. Phone's always ringing. Clients are always calling. Stacks of work on their desk. You're overworked. And now you're getting upset at your boss for desiring to take in more employees to help him. For whatever reason. It can also be sexually, not in the workplace, but at home, he wants more sex. He wants more children. He wants more workers on his field, in his business, whatever reason he wants this more women. Mostly he needs it because he needs to have more sex, which is very much a legitimate reason to have it because men do produce a lot of seeds and they should have more children. Okay, there I go. I said it. But anyways, he has a right to decide. And that means the nest belongs to him. You don't own it. You live in it. And therefore, now it's a question about, is it biblically okay for you not to want to share the space that does not belong to you? If the nest doesn't belong to you, the house doesn't belong to you in a biblical sense, how can you control who comes in and out, and how can you push out another woman legally, biblically? You have no control, and it's actually a sin for you to push out and obstruct and be a stumbling block, hindering the man from welcoming and covering and protecting and providing for another woman, a single woman. The Bible gives clear instructions for men with multiple wives. Exodus 21 verse 10 tells him what he needs to do. He must not diminish the first wife's food and clothing and marital rights. So you're going to get your needs taken care of. As long as he can continue doing that, he's allowed to take on more than one woman. That's Exodus 21 verse 10. And Deuteronomy 21, 15 to 17 says, it has the laws of inheritance and that he's not allowed to diminish the inheritance either when he has two wives. And the first son is supposed to be treated legally right, no matter what wife it is from. So Yah himself gave David multiple wives. We see that in 2 Samuel 12:8. I gave you your master's house and your master's wives into your bosom. So if polygyny was a sin, Yah wouldn't have done this. He wouldn't have given David more wives. Obviously, Yah is the one who initiated David having more wives and said, I would have given you more if you had asked me. So we know that biblical polygyny is righteous option for men. And so if it is an option, since it is, and since it is also the man's household, not yours, and since the woman who is approached by the man is single and available and has been given in marriage by her father, then who are you, my sisters, to be the obstacle? You married sisters, your first wives, to be the obstacle preventing the man from taking on another woman. I say this very, very cautiously because I know some of you are out here and you're hurt. You just found out, right, that he has another woman. You just found out. And it hurts. And I feel for you. I do. You need some counseling. You need somebody to hold your hands and to walk you through this whole process of biblical marriage. And I make myself available to my sisters who need that talk. You just need to step back and realize the logic of it. Put down the emotions that are hindering you from thinking clearly. Step into the realm of the truth of the word and really think, who is really sinning? If the single woman is not in sin, if the husband is not in sin, then who is the sinner in this scenario? The first wife, when she refuses to share the nest, is the one who is the obstacle. She is the one who's stopping the man from biblically doing what he has the right to do, but also preventing him from righteously covering another woman. Instead of him just having sex with her and committing fornication, he wants to righteously take her in, and you are stopping that relationship, stopping him from walking righteously, stopping him from being a husband to another woman biblically and not falling into sin. You are now becoming the stumbling block. And now you're guilty for the husband's sin if he goes and sins because you were in his way. He actually wanted to marry the woman, but you made it difficult. You you threatened. You did a lot of things. The first wife, when you refuse to share your nest, the real sin is from you. The real sin is when you act like you own the nest, when you think that you have authority to decide who comes in and out of the nest. This is rebelling against Yah's order. And scripture supports that by Romans 14:13. It says, resolve this, not to put a stumbling block or an obstacle in your brother's way. Romans 14:13 says, don't do that. And Matthew 18:6-7 says, Yeshua warns us, woe to the one through whom stumbling blocks will come. So be careful. Woe to the one in whom stumbling blocks will come. Like if you are the one who's causing stumbling blocks, making the way for your husband to fall into sin, you have to be careful. That's a dangerous situation. And you're doing it every time you whine and complain when he goes to see this other woman and wants to be with this other woman, his other wife, his other Isha. When you start throwing tantrums, yelling and causing confusion in the house, picking on every little thing to cause an argument. And we know what we do because when we cause an argument, he has no time for the other woman. He's so upset, he's spending all this time in argument with you, but you prefer that than him being happy with you. Anything that to get his time. You become a stumbling block when you start. I'm a psychologist, but some women we can really also throw ourselves into depression, causing our own anxiety because we refuse to stand in the truth. We refuse to hear the truth. When he says, I love you, you don't want to hear it. When he says everything's going to be all right, I'll still take care of you, you don't want to hear it. You refuse to stand in the truth. And you go and you say, oh, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to do something bad to myself. You threaten to hurt yourself so the man can stay with you. And then the worst is to use the children as a weapon. When you're a stumbling block, trying to stop him from marrying and taking in this other woman righteously into his fold and loving her, you throw the children from him and said, if you don't stop this, I'm going to take your daughter, I'm going to take your son away from you. And you threaten to take the children, and you threaten to withhold their love, and you even say bad things about him in front of the children. And then you start slandering both him and the woman through your friends, through his family. If you have a close network of believers, you start saying bad things and slanderous things. All these things are sin. But sisters, here's the truth. All wives are side chicks. None of us own the nest. It doesn't belong to us. So all this is unnecessary. You do not own the household. We are all equal sisters. We are all. Just because you came first doesn't mean that the second one is not equal. It's like the first child complaining that the second child is there. You both have to share a parent. We both have to share a husband. 1 Corinthians 11:8-9 says, when man was not made for a woman, but the woman for the man. Neither was man created for the woman, but the woman for the man. That means whether you're the first, the second, or the third, you were created for the man, not the other way around. You are part of his household, his nest. You are equally covered. Just like he's covering the other woman, he's equally spiritually covering you. He may take on a side chick if he wishes, but you legally have no biblical right to stop him. And if you do try to stop him, you are sinning. Now, how do wives become stumbling blocks? I said that again. You threaten divorce. Like Malachi 2, verse 16 says, God hates divorce. You tell the man you're going to leave him, which you're not allowed to do, but you threaten that. You threaten taking the children away. You throw emotional tantrums, pretending to be very crazy, depressed on purpose. Like on purpose. Like it's a little, some of it is a real act, right? You don't want to get better. You have this OCC spying that goes on. You become the monogamy police. You don't want to stop checking his phone and looking and overhearing his messages, monitoring his every move. Want to know when he comes and when he leaves, as if you have authority over him. You want to know his schedule every day. And if he's late for anything, you're suspicious. But who cares? Because he has a right to be with another woman. He has a right to take on another woman as his wife. And you are not. That's none of your business at all. Slander in 1 Corinthians 6, verse 10 says that we should be careful with gossip and slander. We have to watch our mouths, and the insults and the manipulation is witchcraft. Galatians 5:20 says that. So forbidding marriage is a big thing. When you hinder a man from getting married because of our emotionality, I know it's hard, my sister. Some of you, I really understand that you just got hit with this. You just found out. And immediately you run it to the world and react like what you saw on sitcoms, on TVs, on movies, and from your friends and from your mothers. But I'm calling you, my sisters, to react differently. I'm calling you to come back and turn away from this, because if you forbid marriage, 1 Timothy 4:1-3, it warns about the doctrines of demons. That's monogamy only kind of perspective. The doctrines, the false doctrines of demons are the ones that include forbidding marriage. When you forbid a man from legally, righteously taking on another single woman who needs covering, and you might not like her. It's not about you liking her. You might not like her children. You might not like her family. You might not think she's pretty enough, or you might think she's too pretty. You might not like her. That has nothing to do with you. It's nice if you do like her, but you might not like her. But you do have to eventually love her. We'll talk about that later, because she'll be a part of your family, you know. But again, it's his household. And instead of helping him righteously take in this woman easy without peace, you become the opposite of peace. You become chaos. You become trouble. You make it difficult for him to obey Yah's command. Because once he sleeps with this woman and commits to marry to her, he's not allowed to break that covenant. But you become a temptation for him to break it. You matter of fact, you give him ultimatum, says, if you do not break this relationship, I'm going to take your children and I'm going to leave. I'm going to pay half your assets and I'm going to divorce you. And you know what? The world is going to back you up. The devil is going to back you up, because the devil hates marriage. It hates you loving your husband the way Yah told you to. It hates polygyny. It hates men succeeding through this and us growing through this and us being blessed through this. The devil, the enemy, is going to charge you to go ahead and forbid your husband from marrying another person. And if you're going to find people to support you, you're going to find lots. But very few online are going to be doing this right now with you, telling you stop. Stop, my sisters. Check your heart. At this core, this comes down to selfishness. pure, wicked jealousy and selfishness, as if there's no room in the nest. There is lots of room. Yah has given men the ability to cover more than one woman. And you know how he does that is unique to the man. But he is able to cover. It's not always about finances covering. There's different needs that be met, and Yah knows what the man can handle. But that is again not up to you, especially if he's already gone ahead and done it. You can be hindering it. You can be a stumbling block towards him doing the right thing. I don't want to share, you say. I don't believe I can. I can't. You just keep on saying, I can't. But that's not true. Take a breath. Have a cold shower. Come and get some counseling. I'm making myself available for coaching for sisters, especially. And Brother Mike and Al and I work as a team to encourage the brothers. You can find my email address at mycallforwisdom@yahoo.com, which is in the description of my channel. And I encourage you to not give up the first time you hear about the side chick. Don't react like the world. Please, my sisters, don't react like the world. If you have the fear of Yah in you and reverence to his commands, and you love him, he says, if you love him, you keep his commandments. Therefore, you don't take away or subtract from it. If you know the commandments, this is what I'm going to give you, the word of Yah. If you know it and believe it and it is true, then you have no right to subtract from it, take away from it based on your feelings. Just because you don't feel it, you don't like it, you think that you can change Yah's commands and change Yah's orders. Yah has given the man legally permission to take on another woman. He can marry her. And you being interfering from him doing the righteous thing is the sin. So I'm just want to speak to you today, my sisters. Thank you again for following Call for Wisdom. And then let me know what you think in the chats. Do you think that blocking a side chick or discouraging the side chick from having a relationship with your man is a sin? Are women sinning by doing that, being the stumbling block? Or am I wrong? Tell me where I'm wrong. Leave it in the chats. Thank you again for hanging up with me for Call for Wisdom. It's always a pleasure to have you all, and we will meet again very soon.